It is Thursday, December 11th. It is time to get in the weeds. I'm Jeremy Lambert. That is SP3. And we've got plenty to talk about today. AEW Dynamite Winter is coming. Happened last night. There was wrestling on the show. A whole lot of wrestling on the show that we will get into. I have a very controversial opinion that I don't think people will find that controversial that's coming from me, but I will state it later on the show. We also have a thumbnail that I made sure that John Cena was related into because it is John Cena week here on ITW because someone has to promote his last match, SP3, because WWE sure as hell ain't doing a good enough job when it comes to John Cena's last match. But it all makes sense. I promise it all makes sense in the end of why John Cena is on the thumbnail. We maybe have the NBA Cup. I don't want to, open any wounds or anything there, but we can potentially talk a little bit about the NBA Cup and anything else going on in the world of wrestling, basketball, sports, life, generalities out here. How you doing, buddy?
That was a lot to take in. I'm very confused on why John Cena is in the thumbnail.
I told you.
I know what you just said. None of it made sense. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what
Does
I'm
anything
saying.
on this show make sense?
Sometimes when I'm here, yes, it does. It can make sense. Then I get lost in all the craziness that goes on here. But yes, welcome everyone. It's Thursday. You know what that means. We're going to talk some AEW Dynamite. Winter is coming. One of the better episodes of Dynamite of the year. Definitely one of the best. Felt last night, between last week and last night, I got the feeling and I was like, I think the lull might be over. I tentatively, I will say that. I'm not gonna hold my breath. I'm not gonna be like, I can come back here next Thursday and be like, oh, the lull's back. Because it's a 3-hour dynamite collision next week. So we always know how those can go. So, but for back-to-back shows, it felt like the C2 has kind of got the vibes back that we had pre and post All In.
Yeah, the C2 always helps because you just know you're getting great matches out of the C2. And then last night they added Joe and Eddie on top of that. Joel did not pay me off with his hate. Joel doesn't have enough money to pay me. He makes that very clear that he doesn't make any money from this show. So Joel doesn't have enough money to pay me off. No, I said it all week. I'm going to work John Cena into the thumbnail on every single show. Thursday was going to be the hardest because we were coming off of Dynamite, and how do you work in John Cena into a Dynamite show? Samoa Joe did it. Shout out to Samoa Joe giving the salute.
That's why I was
STF.
like, I heard your whole spiel yesterday. I was like, well, Joe kind of gave it to you.
Yeah.
The thumbnail should have been Joe with the salute. It should have been Joe with the salute. Samoa Joe gives a salute to the GOAT, John Cena. So you could still get the SEO of having it in the title and don't have to necessarily put him in the thumbnail. This kind of scene that I know that you always love, a point where you can go over the top with something. And this is it.
Well, there was a debate. Just tweets.
But that happened during yesterday's show. I literally heard y'all talking about it. I was coming on to the chat to be like, oh, you guys, I don't know if you guys know, but Dax and Matt Hardy are having a crash out. And then I saw y'all talked about it on yesterday's show. Why does it need to be the thumbnail for this show?
Well, as I was saying, it does play into a point that I'm going to make when it comes to a couple of matches on Dynamite, because I do have, again, maybe a slightly controversial opinion that I think people probably know where I'm going with this based on my taste in wrestling. But I'm sure you'll yell at me over my opinion of wrestling matches.
Why would I yell at you? Why would I yell at you?
You
don't always tell me. You don't tell me a match of the year is fine. That's the only way I'll yell at somebody. You come up on here and you're like, oh, it was fine. Everybody's raving about something. If you tell me Speedball and Fletcher was fine,
it insisted upon itself. I must say
it was cromulent. That's what Joel would say.
I use yell like my kids use yell. Like you'll be talking to them at like a normal voice. You could be whispering to our kids. Like, why are you yelling at me? I am literally just talking to you like a normal human being. Just because I'm saying something you're not a fan of right now does not mean that I'm yelling at you. That's how I use yell when coming to you. You will actually like yell at Joel, and it's very funny. You don't really yell at me because you know I'm just screwing around with a lot of stuff. But I do have a controversial opinion on that. I don't actually think it's that controversial. Before we get into all that, leave a thumbs up on the video. Oh, look at that. We got the fireworks. I didn't even have to smile too much for that. Leave a thumbs up on the video. Yeah. Subscribe to the channel. I said leave a thumbs up, but leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, tap the bell for notifications, all that fun stuff. We got clips, we got shorts, we got a lot going on here on the channel. You can leave a super chat, get your question, comment, statement read on the air. Like Volub, who did send us a super chat. We'll go ahead and read this out so people can know what the deal is with the super chats. If it's for some reason your first time here, and if it is your first time here, welcome. We're here every single weekday, 10 a.m. Eastern every single weekday. Myself and SP3 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Myself and Joel Pearl on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Volub sends a super chat, says, I've been having a rough few days. I hope you feel better, Volub. I know we like to screw around with you, but I literally said fuck you last week, but you know I love you, Volub. I have had a rough few days. A Kyle and Speedball match really made me feel something. Matches matter. Even TK loved my response, allegedly. Did he like your tweet? Well, he likes a lot of tweets. He might have vanity searched all the praise for Fletcher and Speedball and liked.
He did because I got a like too.
Yeah, bless TK. He likes a lot of tweets.
Bless him. It's a nice moment. A nice moment when you see, oh, TK liked it because it's praise about AEW.
I believe AEW Okada is way better than G1 Okada. I do love AEW Okada. He does rule. That's not my controversial take.
I'm not surprised that comment came from Xeno Hour.
That is not my controversial take. I will get into my controversial take. Before we get into all of that, we do have a poll question. It is John Cena related because every poll question this week is also going to be John Cena related. It's his last week.
I'm a John Cena fan too, but this is a little excessive, isn't it?
No. Why?
I had my aim. Yes, aim. American Online Messenger name was J Cena KB8. I was a Cena mark before most of y'all knew about John Cena. And I am not this excessive with my love and adoration for John Cena this week. I'm showing him love. He's had the best week. He's the best thing ever. I did the article that we talked about yesterday. Yes, I got another one that's probably going to be coming out either tomorrow or the day after. So I love John Cena, but come on, really? Well, every day a thumbnail, every day a poll question.
Because we're never going to get to use John Cena again.
We got to do it on Monday.
Week. Well, yeah, Monday, but we got to do it for all of this week. But otherwise, we're not going to get to use John Cena again. I got to put thank you, Alexa Bliss Gamer. I'm booking his retirement week better than WWE. And my poll question has to do with your article, SP3. Your article inspired my poll question for today. And it's simply, who is John Cena's greatest rival? And I want to see if the chat, which they probably will because they're a bunch of dicks, has a differing opinion than your article. So who is John Cena's greatest rival? And we have Edge. We have Randy Orton. We have CM Punk. I was gonna put the Entity because that's what he said his greatest rival is, but I don't want to put that because I feel like people will vote for that off of just the bit. Our chat will go with the bit. So I'm actually going with the top four options: Edge, Randy Orton, CM Punk, and AJ Styles. Those are the.
Should have been Triple H for I agree, Matthew Hooks.
I did. Yes, I did. I did think of Triple H as well instead of AJ Styles. But again, I was going with a very fair poll question instead of, because you guys would vote for Triple H. I know how you work. out here, chat. I know how you guys work. So I was going to see what you guys actually thought his real greatest rival is. I know you would have voted for the entity. I know you would have voted for Triple H. So we're going with Edge, Randy Orton,
Visibility.
CM Punk,
Should
AJ
be visibility.
Styles. Visibility. That is the poll question for today, folks. Did it work? Is it there? Did the poll question show up? It's not showing up for me.
Let me see.
Someone confirm if the poll question has popped up or not. I'll try to redo it. Who is John Cena's greatest rival? Did it not show up? Oh, it's there. Okay. Okay. Yeah, they're saying it's working. Okay.
Say this is why I like big man dogs. Big man dogs. You got where I was going with it. And I talked about this the other day that I talked to Jimmy, because Jimmy was another one who was like, because he's a big Punk guy, so he was like Punk over Edge, and I was like, it just comes down to, I feel like Edge had the better rivalry, Punk had the better matches. And it's funny because then he also said, okay, then Orton over Michaels, and I was like, well, then it's the other way around. Michaels had the much better matches. Orton may have had a good rivalry with Cena that people remember, but it was too drawn out. I was like, I penalized him for 62 times. 62 matches in their WWE career. That's too much. That's way too much.
You guys are confirming the poll question. It is up, and it's up, and it's up, and the poll is up, and it goes up because the poll goes up, and the pussy bounces on the poll because it's up, and it's up, and it's up, and it's up. Thank you for everybody confirming that the poll is up. Vote on the poll question, everybody. We have a banner. Everybody can run with this. You can aggregate the hell out of this, okay? Aggregate in the weeds on this. AEW is very high on Kyle Fletcher. See him as a future main eventer and world champion. Everybody can aggregate that. All right? I see a lot of aggregation.
What? That's big news.
Yes. I don't know if you know that, SP3. My sources tell me, Bryan Danielson tells me, AEW is very high on Kyle Fletcher. You wouldn't know this just from watching the television show. No. I have sources who are telling me AEW is high on Kyle Fletcher and see him as a future main eventer and world champion. I did not just surmise this off of a television show that I watch weekly.
Well, I have some even bigger news. You could say the source is in the weeds working with True Hill Heat, but the bigger news is, for everybody who's worried about Jack Perry losing last night, I hear Jack Perry's in line for a major singles push into 2026. There we go.
This is what he's got to start right here. Then imagine how over he would be if they just do that.
They don't say yeet, they say skeet. Skeet.
Yeah, that's right.
Skeet. Skeet, skeet.
One word, 5 letters. Skeet.
Skeet.
Double fisted Jack Perry.
Dave Skeet itch.
Oh man! All right. I don't know where we go from there. Yeah, he wasn't jacking off.
He's been doing this for days with Joel, and he didn't think of that. This is why you need me on this show.
I don't disagree.
No, I'm talking to the Zito hours of the world. This is why I'm needed here.
Okay.
It's not just to bash you. It's because
Jack Perry or Kazuchika Okada wasn't jacking off, and that's why he got his dick bitten. You gotta use it or lose it, and Okada was not using it, so Jack Perry was going to make sure he lost it.
I will say, outside of the biting of the dick, that was Jungle Boy in the ring. That felt like a Jungle Boy performance more than a scapegoat Jack Perry performance. And, since he's been back, he's kind of did a hybrid of both where he's meeting like it's jungle scapegoat. But that was a Jungle Boy performance last night. It was very much akin to like 2020, 2021 Jungle Boy performances in the ring. That was a good match.
It's the best match on the show.
Okay.
That's my real controversial opinion. Perry and Okada was better than everything else.
Because he bit a dick. He bit his dick.
Yeah. One match had Jack Perry. The other matches did not have Jack Perry. So,
one match had a biting of a dick.
Automatic. Automatic. It is the best match on the show.
I thought he really twisted his ankle when he got pushed off the top rope too.
You can't injure Jack Perry. He doesn't get hurt. Yeah.
Biting dicks.
Would you like to talk about the NBA Cup at all? We don't have to.
We lost.
Okay.
Stephen Castle is really good. Keldon Johnson is really good. Stephon. I don't care. He's gonna get traded for Giannis. Stephon Castle. Okay, sure. Stephon Castle. He played great. He had 30 points. Our defense sucked last night. We just could not stop anybody. Could not stop them from three. They were shooting like 50% from three at one point. I was just like, at that point, when they were shooting I think they were shooting like 52% from three, and we were down by 20 in the third. I was like, the Lakers didn't even come out of the locker room after halftime. Like we went on a 14-2 run to end the first half, and then just completely let the game go in the beginning of the third. We made a comeback in the fourth, but it was over.
Yeah, they cut it to 9 in the fourth with like 4 minutes to go. I was like, okay, all right. Marcus Smart all of a sudden turned into prime Steph Curry, hitting 8 threes. I was like, all right, they're there. They might show up. And then Castle hit some tough shots. De'Aaron Fox hit some tough shots. Like, all right. I guess that's going to be the game there. That defense is a little rough. That was, a little rough.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good last night, and there's back-to-back games for Austin Reeves where he didn't play that well either. So it
was a good LeBron dunk.
That dunk was masterful, and Luka played well for most of the game as well. So
Luka got numbers.
Yeah, Luka puts up he's always going to get his numbers, but that's what it is.
Numbers. Yeah. The Knicks defeated the Raptors. The Raptors are on fraud watch as they lost once again. It's a good game by the Knicks. They performed well. And then Orlando defeated Miami. Miami got off to a really hot start.
Desmond Bane played great.
Desmond Bane went off, I am excited for the Magic and Knicks rematch. I hope Desmond Bane continues to throw the ball at people.
Please, I wish it was back in New York so I could hear him get booed every single time. I need that. Oh, and I saw this. Someone did a video breakdown talking about like their mouthing what they were saying to one another, and all it was is OG being like, "Dude, why'd you throw the ball at me for?" And Desmond Bane is trying to convince the referee and everybody. He was like, "I was falling out of bounds." And the referee's like, "You were not falling out of bounds."
No, I wasn't even close. He was still like falling out of bounds. He just grabbed the ball and chucked it at him. It rolled.
Hilarious.
It absolutely rolled when he did it.
Great stuff.
Yeah. Games have been a little disappointing. Like a few blowouts. 3 blowouts. Even the Magic and the Heat got a little lopsided by the end of it. So, kind of disappointing quarterfinals. Hopefully the semifinals are a little bit better.
Also, I've been really kind of thinking a lot about the top 10 greatest players of all time, mainly because of ESPN's or Bleacher Report's disrespect to Kobe beating Bryant at the beginning of the year and placing him at number 11. And I realize Larry Bird might be the most overrated person in the top 10.
Okay, why is that?
Larry Bird, he was on his first championship run. That's why he didn't win the NBA Finals MVP. His career is, of course, shortened greatly by the back injury. He has a lot of moments where he comes up short in big playoff games. He's great. He's a great rebounder in those games where he's not shooting well. But everybody wants to talk about Kobe Bryant's performance in Game 7 against the Boston Celtics in 2010. There are multiple games like that for Larry Bird in the playoffs. The bad shooting night when you just have to do something else on the court to provide for your team, like Kobe did in Game 7. Larry Bird has done that multiple times in the playoffs. He didn't even have like 10 points. Like, yeah, like I was like, when I did my research, when I look back and I watched like different like older games in the last couple of months, and I'm just like, I still have him in the top 10, but there's people that actually have him like top 5 or number 6 or number 7. I'm like, he is not better than a lot of these guys. Also, this is something that this is going to probably be more even controversial than what you were going to say at the beginning of the show. I hate to say this because he's one of my favorite players of all time. He's my dad's favorite player of all time. So God bless your soul, Dad. I know you're going to hate me for this. Magic Johnson is also overrated. Magic Johnson is not top. He is not a top 4 player. When you look at the, like, dude, like, even like everybody wants to talk about like the defense was so elite, was so tough in the 80s. There's interviews with David Stern talking about how the conversation in the 80s was they need to change the rules because everybody's scoring and there's no defense. So every generation has really had the same thing, but because we're so far removed from the 80s, it has this revered legend of the tough defense because everybody thinks everybody was the freaking Detroit Pistons when they weren't. There was teams like the Denver Nuggets giving up 175 points a game to open up a season. Like, there were really bad teams in the 80s that gave up a lot of points. It wasn't this elite defense. And defense is the main reason why I think Magic Johnson is overrated at being a top 4 player, because everybody else in the top 4, like the top 6, top 7 that people would consider as the greatest players of all time, top 7, all of them are defensive players. Magic Johnson never made an all defensive team. He's the greatest point guard of all time, greatest passer that's ever lived, but he is very much a one side of the court player. And like I've been going in and criticizing, I had to put up the same kind of complaints and criticism to a different generation. And that is my criticism for Magic and Bird. And that is why I think both Kobe Bean Bryant and Tim Duncan should be higher than them on the greatest players of all time list.
Okay. I think it's difficult because of the eras.
The era and their influence why Bird and Magic are ranked so high.
Yeah, they were the best players in their eras. And that still holds a lot of weight. Because if you were the best player in your era, then you were automatically better than 400 players who all time as you. Well, does that translate to this era? I don't know, because it's very foolish to say, oh, their game wouldn't translate when we know they wouldn't play the same. You don't think Michael Jordan would be a better three-point shooter if he played today? You don't think Larry Bird wouldn't be taking 10 threes a game if he played today? Like, so it's very tough to say that it wouldn't translate on this stuff. I like I always say, all right, if you're gonna take Magic and Larry and knock them down, like who's replacing them, and like how far are you not? Like, you still said that Larry is a top 10 player. You still said Magic is a top 10 player. So, all right, if you want to put Tim Duncan, I advocate for Tim Duncan. I think Tim Duncan's better overall than Kobe Bryant for Duncan. I think there's going to be an argument when it's over that Steph is better than Magic. I think you can start the argument now.
Yeah, there is the argument, but like Steph is a better shooter, but everything else on the offensive end, Magic kind of beats him at.
All right.
So I would say there's no shot for me personally of putting Steph ahead of him. The fact that Steph is ahead of Kobe on that Bleacher Report list is disgusting. It disgusts me to this day. It's 4 months later, and I'm still disgusted by it because Kobe Bryant has the record for all-time first team all defensive. He's second ever for all defensive selections. He's second ever for all NBA selections. Like, how do you make so much history? How do you have so much influence on the game, and then they leave you out of the top 10? When, in my eyes, Kobe Bryant has an argument to be number 4. He's number 4 for me. I did my redone list after doing my research and having my criticisms and really kind of put a microscope on Magic and Bird's career, like everybody puts it on Kobe's career as of late. And I said Kobe's number 4, Duncan's number 5, then Magic, then Bird.
And so who's out? Steph would be bumped then?
Steph is number 10. Wilt's not in my top 10.
Wilt's not in your top 10? Okay.
Yeah. Wilt wasn't even like, Wilt was great. He's a great regular season player. But Wilt was basically a very tall on steroids James Harden. I said what I said. I don't even need to explain that. Yeah, y'all can just, if you know NBA, y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like if you know history and you know the fact that Wilt did not lost regularly against the other great player of his era, he can't even claim to be in the best player of his era. He's a great regular season player, great numbers. But I am sorry. I'm sorry. What was it? 1962 in New York City. You telling me nobody said, let me get a camera out to take a picture of this guy scoring 100 points? There's not even a picture. There's a picture of him with a napkin that says 100. We couldn't take a picture of him taking a basket. I don't think it exists. I'm sorry. It don't exist.
So who's your top 3? Jordan, LeBron, who's third?
Jordan, LeBron, Kareem. That doesn't change.
Kareem.
Like,
okay.
I don't know how anybody can argue that that's the top 3.
Okay. All right, so you're bumping Wilt out. All right.
Yeah.
Wilt's tough because I'm not gonna pretend
I'm bumping Will like legitimately. He's number 12 on my list.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm not gonna pretend like I know much about Wilt and Kareem. That was not an era I grew up watching. That's not an era I've gone back and looked at. I don't really have Kareem. I understand the greatness and everything. It's tough for me to argue for them wherever you're going to argue outside of hey, I looked at their numbers and they're really good. Hey, they were clearly the best players of their era, and Bill Russell, they were the best players of their era, and that certainly means something, and especially Kareem with all the titles and all the accolades and everything. So I completely get that. It's tough for me to just argue for them because I did not watch them live and I did not grow up understanding how much they meant to the game. So I'm literally just looking at numbers and highlights, which I can do, but I don't think it's fair to what I actually grew up watching and things like that. But I understand why Will and Kareem are there for a lot of people. You want to take Will out? I don't have an issue with that.
I got Russell. I got Russell still in the top 10. I got him at number 9.
Okay.
He just wasn't a good offensive player. He was just a strictly defensive powerhouse that was the leader of these all-time teams where he played with 6 other Hall of Famers. And Onetti says, I got Hakeem over Kobe. That's funny. That's a funny joke. I needed to hear that. No one has Hakeem over Kobe. Not even Bleacher Report. Yeah. Kobe Bryant.
But
despite Hakeem being known as a great all-time defender, Kobe has more first team and more all defensive selections than him.
Yeah,
Hakeem was better first coming into the league than Kobe, but overall careers, Kobe has a better career than Hakeem.
Yeah, I don't have Hakeem over Kobe. I like Hakeem. There's an argument.
I got Hakeem over Wilt. That's who I got at 11.
Okay. All right. All his arguments are going to be moot in 3 years when Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a top 5 player of all time.
I've been seeing that conversation going on social media. Everybody's like, Shai is. I saw the tweet. It was Yeah, Luca is still a top 30 guy, but now Shea has top 5 potential. By the time he ends his career, he will be top 5, and Luca won't. So that is why Shea is better than Luca now. Something like that. That was the tweet that I saw. I do agree that Shea is the better player than Luca right now, mainly because Shea plays both sides of the ball very, very well. But then people go off the beaten path and say, I saw somebody say Shea is more MJ than Kobe was, and I was like, you see, why you have to do this to me? I'm a Shea fan. Like, why you? This is what happened with Tracy McGrady, with D Wade, with Allen Iverson, with LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, all the people that have been compared to Kobe when Kobe was playing. This is why I did not like a lot of these players, because people used to be like, this person's better than Kobe. It's like, why y'all always got to bring up Kobe? Why does Kobe have to always be in these conversations? Why do it's been running red? Like,
Isn't
we went
that a
through
compliment
a phase,
to Kobe?
but what? That he's more MJ than Kobe. Kobe is the heir
No, that
apparent
that Kobe's like in these conversations with those
No,
players.
it's never in a positive light though. It's
Okay.
always this player's better than Kobe. It's
Who
it's
says
putting
that?
down Kobe. Dude, I don't do this to me. If people been saying this since 2001. People have
Okay,
been
like,
comparing everybody and their mama, and still to this day, now nearly 10 years after his retirement and 5 years after his passing, people are still bringing him up, and he is the common person as being, this person is better than him. Yeah,
all
thank
right.
you, Jose. It's a sneak diss at Kobe. It's always
Okay.
that.
I misunderstood your comments on. I thought they were comparing to Kobe, not they're better than Kobe. None of those guys are better than Kobe.
No.
I'm sure people do say it. I don't listen to dumb people when it comes to this stuff. So there are plenty of people online who say a lot of dumb things. There are people online who say Austin Reeves is better than Shea. Okay, sure, you could say that, but again, you can say a lot of dumb things. I don't listen to dumb people when it comes to this stuff. Nobody smart is. I'm sure Tracy McGrady is probably saying he's better than Kobe, but nobody smart is saying that these guys.
What was that a couple of years ago? If I had Shaq, I would have won 3-2.
Yeah. So the whole Shea and Kobe thing. So the way you said it at first is like he's more MJ than Kobe was. I don't agree with that, because I think Kobe's athleticism was more comparable to MJ's. Shea doesn't have that same athletic. He's a different type of athleticism, but he doesn't really dunk the ball. He definitely doesn't do like highlight dunks or anything like that. But the way they play, I mean, anybody watching the game can show the way all three of those guys play. You can see the Kobe and Jordan influence. I think Shea has Kobe rated higher than Jordan, honestly.
I think that Shea is more Kobe than MJ. That's what I really think it is. That's why I brought up that whole comment, that whole statement, is because I think that he's very much modeled his game after Kobe more than Jordan. And you could say, oh, he's more Jordan than Kobe because Kobe modeled his game after Jordan. But there are certain things that make Kobe different than Jordan, and I see that in Shea.
I mean, Shea has definitely modeled his game after both of those guys. And again, he has said that he likes Kobe over Jordan. I think he puts Kobe higher than Jordan, and people got very mad at him over that. But and that's who he grew up watching more. He grew up watching Kobe, so it's not too surprising. And like, he definitely models his game after those guys, which good. Those are the two greatest shooting guards of all time, and
exactly
the greatest player of all time. And SP3 would argue a top 5 player. I would definitely say a top 10 player. If you want to say top 5, there's obviously an argument for that. You should model your game after these guys. Why wouldn't you model your game after two of the greatest players of all time? I don't know if Shea's going to reach that level. I mean, he's got one title, right now. It's going to take a lot more titles. I hope he gets there. I hope he gets there. That'd be great for me as a Thunder fan. That means we're winning 4, 5, 6 titles out here. Oh, I'd be very happy about that. I don't know if it's going to happen, but you see the parallels are there as far as their playing style. The parallels are definitely there with all of these guys. I don't listen to people who say any of those guys are better than Kobe. And their game certainly that's where like you started is the first person you T-Mac, and you could kind of see T-Mac Kobe parallels as far as game, but then when it went to like Iverson and even like Wade and Carmelo's, like their games aren't like Kobe at all. And then when you mentioned
it's just been in my lifetime, any scorer gets compared to Kobe.
Yeah, that's fair. And yeah, I don't buy any of that because dumb people say those things.
I mean, to be fair, I don't judge them or call them dumb or anything, mainly because I was the kid at 13 years old telling my brother-in-law, who was the biggest Jordan fan, that Kobe Bryant at 28 is better than Jordan at 28. Like, I was that kid. So I can understand this generation being like, Shay's better than Kobe. I think it's dumb, and I think they're misinformed, or they don't have the information needed to come up to that opinion. But I'm not going to call them dumb because I was that dumb kid. I'll call myself.
If you're a kid, fine. If you lived through the eras and you thought all these people were better than Kobe, I don't know. It's very prisoner of the moment. Like if you were saying that at the time, like, oh, I think Allen Iverson's better than Kobe. Like I'm sure that was said at the time. Like I'm sure kids said all of that at the time. Like I might have said all that. Yeah, I'd rather have McGrady than Kobe for this season because he's playing so great. Like, sure, if you're a kid saying these things, fine, whatever. If you were trying to retroactively say these things, don't be stupid. Deion Waiters is the greatest player. No one could defend.
Nah, y'all don't know about the real greatest player of all time, Coney Island's own Sebastian Telfair.
Okay, yeah. I did like Bazzi. Yeah. I get mad at these fans online nowadays. A lot of Thunder stuff pops up in my feed, and then off of that, a lot of Thunder hate pops up on my feed, and I gotta mute all of that stuff. I was like, y'all guys are just stupid. But one thing I do get mad at is all the Thunder haters who are like, oh, all the Thunder fans are just like 12 and 13 years old. They just jumped on the bandwagon these past couple of seasons and stuff like that. Look, folks, y'all wasn't there when Derek Fisher was guarding Tim Duncan in the Western Conference Finals. Okay? That's the stuff that I had to. I was watching Derek Fisher at 40 years old guard Tim Duncan.
Wasn't there when freaking the Lakers bumped the baby Thunder. You weren't there when freaking Beverly ruined the Thunder's championship season. You wasn't shooting in the gym like Jeremy has. Jeremy's been shooting in the gym with these folks. He's gone through different generations. The Billy Donovan generation. God. He's been through it all, man.
Scott Brooks, ours is better than yours. Kendrick Perkins starting in the finals when the Heat were laughing at it. Like, you guys are starting this guy? This guy is starting in the finals against us? Y'all weren't there for all of that. All right, so I lived through all of that stuff. I wasn't there with the 70-point loss just a few seasons ago. The biggest loss in NBA history to the Memphis Grizzlies. I don't think Memphis has beaten them since. Everyone was clowning us there. Like, oh, look at this team. This team's terrible. The biggest loss. They'll never win any. The black eye of the league is what that one idiot tried to say. Tremaine. Yeah. Calling us the black eye of the league. The Hornets, they're really building something. The Thunder are the black eye. How's that working? Where are the Hornets at? What have the Hornets accomplished ever? Huh? I feel like we're doing pretty well for ourselves right now. Get them out of here. Am I frozen again?
You're on pace for 70 wins. 70 wins this season.
All right, is SP3's internet bad now? Is he frozen? I feel like it's his and not mine for once.
I'm frozen. I didn't know that.
Now you're fine.
I didn't know I was frozen. Yeah. No, I just pressed mute.
No, I know, but like
someone's honking their horn outside. Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, but your video froze for a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Didn't look like it on my end,
Okay,
but
all right.
okay.
Yeah, the Baisley and Poku era. I thought Baisley was gonna be something. He should have played more in that first round against Houston. We might have won Game 7 if Baisley played more. Poku, I thought Poku had the juice, and unfortunately, he did not. Hamidou Diallo, dunk champion. Hamidou Diallo, yeah, I was there for all of this. Don't tell me just started jumping on the bandwagon 2 seasons ago. Nah, to live
I
through the
heard you
misery.
I heard you even watch that dumb Thunder movie too.
I did watch Thunderstruck, yeah. Yeah.
It's
I had to
shameful.
support.
Shameful.
I had to support, man. It's like Kevin Durant, look, he's in this movie. This is so great. And then turns out that was real life because that's how Kevin Durant played in Game 6 of the conference finals against the Warriors. Got his damn powers stolen. Me too, old nudie. Perry Jones the third, man, he looked like he was special. There was a game, Perry Jones had like 20. Because this was when Ibaka and Russ and Durant were all injured, so like they had to play Perry Jones, and Perry Jones just went off in this game. It's like, oh, we got something with Perry Jones, and then turns out we didn't really have campaign. I had the campaign for campaign. He should have been playing more, I thought, during that season. When we got Randy Foye in 2015-16, I was like, this is it, Randy Foye. This is the guy who's going to come here. This is the missing piece. We've been needed. Friends with Kevin Durant. This is who we got right here. I lived through all of this stuff. I mean, I just jumped on the bandwagon. Get out of here.
Hey, I've always been a fan of Nick Collison.
Nick Collison is Mr. Thunder.
The Kansas Blue Jays days. I was rooting for Kansas versus Syracuse because all of my friends were Carmelo fans. So I was rooting for Kansas Jayhawks with Nick Collison and Kurt Heinrich against them. So my rivalry with Melo gone.
Nick Collison is Mr. Thunder. You definitely won't catch me hating on Nick Collison. He's still part of the team. He's got a ring, as he should. Nick Collison, the GOAT. We play the Spurs on Saturday. I hope Wemby's back for that game. We play the Spurs 3 times in like 12 days. I'm going to get sick of this team. I don't want to see them that often. That's what I was hoping the Lakers would win last night. I was like, let's play a team that's not the Spurs. We already play them coming up. But they couldn't get their defense together for long enough to beat the Spurs. Spurs are tough. Good young players.
They're deep as hell.
Yeah.
They're 9-3 now without Wemby.
Yeah. They got a lot of good guards, and their guards are, Dylan Harper, I think, is better than maybe people expected at this stage. Stephon Castle's built on his rookie year. De'Aaron Fox is still really good. We'll see how Saturday shakes out. I hope Wemby plays. I wanna see them with Wemby, and I hope Hartenstein's back for us. That would be nice. But even if he doesn't, that's still a good game. Looking forward to Saturday.
I think the Thunder win. I think that Thunder are the favorites to win the NBA Cup, but it will be a tough one because I think it's going to be Thunder and the Knicks, who are the hottest team in the NBA right now, not named the Thunder.
I ain't worried about the Knicks.
Hey, it's one game. It's not a 7 games. It's a 7-game series. I would be like, yeah, y'all don't have nothing to worry about. They ain't beating y'all 4 times. But one game, I'll take money on the Knicks.
One game that is literally meaningless. The record after that game is literally 0-0. After that, it is a meaningless game.
It means a lot. It's the very prestigious NBA Cup.
Yeah.
This is a part of legacy for the Thunder. You know what?
It's the only thing we haven't won.
Exactly. This adds to the legacy, and it will add to your legacy if this does, be a record-breaking year for y'all. Y'all add to the legacy of it, of the push. If y'all tie with the Golden State Warriors, what's going to be the difference of 73-9 and 73-9 before y'all win the championship? It is the fact y'all are NBA Cup champions. Very prestigious NBA Cup champions. The difference between y'all and the 2016 Golden State Warriors is the cup.
It's literally a meaningless game. I do not care at all about the NBA Cup. I know, I'm sorry, SP3. I'm sorry. I know it is the very prestigious. I can't find myself to care about it. I want to win these games because I want to win these games. That's it. I'm not worried about like winning a cup.
Very prestigious.
The NBA Cup. So my wife was asking me, she's like, what are these like NBA Cup games? Like, why are they important? And I'm like, it's the Continental Classic. The NBA Cup is the Continental Classic.
I mean, yes. Yes. In fact, yes. That is exactly what it is. The Owen Hart Cup is the playoffs, and the Continental Classic is the NBA Cup.
That's all it is. So I don't care that much about the NBA Cup. People like it's whatever. It's whatever. This NBA Cup doesn't mean anything, but you know, that's disrespectful to the C2. Is it? Is it disrespectful to the C2?
I think it is. I think it is disrespectful. I think you're disrespectful to everything. You know, it's disrespectful to the NBA Cup, disrespectful to the Continental Classic. I have to work with this guy. Oh my god.
I don't know how it's disrespectful to either of them. I feel like it's pretty
very
apt.
Disrespectful. No, it's not. It's disrespectful.
You just agreed with me. Now you're agreeing with Zeno.
No. I was saying that your analogy made sense. I'm not saying I agree. It can make sense, but I don't have to agree with it.
All right, fair. I mean, I don't think I'm wrong. Maybe it's disrespectful. I'm not wrong. The NBA Cup is a battle royal. They should do a battle royal in the NBA.
They just do a shoot off, and whoever misses the shot, they have to get off the court. Whoever does
play knockout.
Yeah, knockout. Yeah.
I would actually like for the All-Star game. I actually want knockout. I think it'd be fun. They used to do horse.
Should be knockout to determine the captain.
Okay, all right. Okay. Yeah, they used to do horse, and then they stopped because I think Kevin Durant just won every year, and the players got salty about it. The players are lame. They don't want to do like one-on-one type competitions. They're lame with it. Yeah.
They don't want to be embarrassed.
Yeah, they're lame.
That hurts their brand, man. What are we doing? Can't do that.
Not worried about it. NBA Cup, Saturday's the semifinal. I think the finals are like on Tuesday of next week. So we'll talk about the finals next Tuesday. All right, let's get into AEW Dynamite with the very prestigious Continental Classic. Here's my hot take. Here's my controversial opinion. SP3. Samoa Joe and Eddie Kingston was a better match than Kyle Fletcher and Speedball Mike Bailey. That is my controversial opinion. Everyone's calling Speedball and Fletcher the greatest match ever, the greatest television match ever. I liked Joe and Eddie better.
I mean, it's two different types of matches. Yeah. I'm like John Alba and something else we're going to talk about. Can't we have both? Like, I like both. I love both. I think both were awesome. Do I agree with Jeremy that Joe and Kingston was better than Fletcher and Speedball? No. But I love Joe and Kingston. That was just a full-on brawl. It was just beat the hell out of each other. We're gonna chop the hell out of each other. And plus, I was watching the fight feed, so that was even better because I got to watch the chop fest that started during commercial and then spilled over into the main part of the broadcast. But this was the first Eddie fucking Kingston performance that we've gotten since he's been back. This felt like Eddie getting down and dirty, having a gritty fight with somebody, showing that underdog babyface fire. I just, at the end of the matchup, I was just like, man, this guy is this generation's Foley. He's this generation's Funk. He just has that kind of that endearing part of him, that likability that just connects him with fans on another level, that they have to rally behind him. Like hearing that crowd in Atlanta get so hot at certain moments with the Eddie chants and then chanting for Joe. There was great atmosphere. That was an all-time. That was one of the best crowds AEW's had all year in Atlanta last night. That crowd added a lot to that main event. And the exploder suplex that Eddie got, Joe with the different lariats, Joe busting out the tribute to John Cena, busting out an AA, and then doing the STFU with the salute, and then Eddie biting him in response. It was just so great. There was so many great moments in that matchup. A great way to close off, which was probably the best in-ring night for AEW. I would say this, or once again, like we said after Blood and Guts, I'm going to bring it up again because some of y'all always do this. If something happens in the first 4 months of the year, by the end of the year, y'all just forget it and y'all don't want to talk about it. But I'm going to keep bringing up Spring Breakthrough, because Spring Breakthrough had the Mercedes and Athena match and Ospreay and Takeshita, which is probably the only match that is on par with Kyle Fletcher and Speedball Mike Bailey. But this one probably, I would say this one has the better main event. I think the Joe and Kingston was better than the Ops and Death Riders. So and the crowd, I think this crowd was better than Boston. So if you want to make the argument that this show was better than Spring Breakthrough, I think there is a strong argument there, because the crowd was hot. The main event was better. You got Joe in his bag in kind of the matchup that Joe kind of excels at. And then Eddie Kingston was Eddie Kingston again. And then I added to it even more when I watched, I went to AEW's YouTube channel and they posted up the post show, what happened after the show, with Bryan Danielson getting on the mic and saying, I'm the guy that once called this man the king of the bums, but this man just showed you why he can be AEW world champion. So Eddie, I know you're fight it. I was like, let's go, Brian. And then Eddie kind of rolled out. I was like, oh my God, I wish AEW would use their overrun properly, and we got that at the end of the show instead of just Eddie laying down looking, like he lost. If we got to get the crowd like cheering for Eddie. Eddie gets up, and then we have a moment of Brian kind of giving Eddie a pep talk. I think that would have left people even more like, oh man, I'm more invested in Eddie Kingston's journey to the AEW world title. I hope they play that on like Collision or on Dynamite next week.
Greater than Haro K. Is it a better match or just your type of match? Oh, it's just easily my type of match. Everyone knows. That's why I set it up of like, I don't know if it's a controversial opinion, because it's right up my alley of what you might expect me to say. It is way more my type of match. I'm not going to bury Speedball and Fletcher, call it a bad match, or say it wasn't great or anything like that. It was an excellent, excellent, excellent match. My style of match is more Joe and Kingston. A little bit more straightforward, doing less with more, shorter. And everyone knows my sweet spots, the 12 to 18, and Fletcher and Speedball was a little over 19. So not that took away from anything, but it is 100% more my type of match. And that is why, to me, it is a better match. If you think that Fletcher and Speedball was a better match, fine. I don't have an argument for that. To you, it is a better match. This is what we're going to get into later of it's a 5-star match. What is a 5-star match? Here's how I'm going to tie these two things together. The story of Eddie and Samoa Joe was better to me than the story of Speedball and Fletcher. There was more to it there, to me, when it came to all of this. And that also enhanced the match. I know the story of Speedball and Fletcher. Speedball looking for his first win in the tournament, proving that he could be on Fletcher's level. Fletcher trying to do everything he could to remain undefeated. The exhaustion at the end, the way they were selling everything at the end, I thought was great. I think some people, I saw a little bit of like, the kickouts weren't very good. They shouldn't have been. After all the shit they went through, they should have exhausted kickouts. Like that was a good part of all of this. I understand the story and everything to Speedball and Fletcher. I like the entire story of Kingston and Joe better, and to me that enhanced the whole match with everything. So that's why I liked Joe and Kingston better. Take away nothing from Fletcher and Speedball. Excellent match. Though the way the crowd, and if a lot of high impact moves and stuff did not move you, if all these kickouts are like, why are they doing so many kickouts? Are they selling stuff? Blah 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 blah. I would say, like, what's the crowd thinking here? And dude, that crowd was in on every single moment down the stretch for that match. I do not love a ton of kickouts at the end. Let's kind of do a bunch of finishers. Okay, you're kicking out of another finisher, everything. I don't love that for every single match. I think AEW does overdo that in a lot of their matches. But I always say, how's the crowd feeling on this? What's the crowd like with this? And 9 out of 10 times, now there are some instances where the crowd is like, oh yeah, that should have been the finish. Why are you guys continuing to go? 9 out of 10 times, the crowd is there the entire time. And this one was one of those examples of the crowd was there for all of these kickouts and the entire closing stretch of this match. Go ahead and praise this match, SP3. That was not as good as Samoa Joe and Eddie Kingston.
I want to say, Joe and Kingston, it was a very well done thing. And I got to bring up what Sports and Things said in the chat. They did a great job of making the main event feel big beforehand by giving Joe his own promo. And then Kingston promo was so good. He was just such a genuine babyface who showed nervousness, but still determination at the same time. And I think that added to the crowd's anticipation for that matchup and how hot they were in the closing stretch of that matchup.
Oh, the promos between Joe and Eddie Kingston backstage promos before this match were also so good. Like, yeah Eddie, like, kind of having like the doubt and not resignation, but just being like, yeah, I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna fight, I might get my ass kicked, doesn't matter. We're here at the end of the day. We're here. And Joe being like, I am that dude. Like, I'm still that dude. Like, you are getting exactly what you were asking for. Yeah, it's like, oh, that's good. That's good stuff.
Because those promos basically were like answers to the criticisms that we had for the segment last week. Where we got the Eddie Kingston that we wanted, and we got the Samoa Joe that we wanted. The cocky Joe was like, nah, I'm still that guy. This is just the real me. The guy you looked up to was just a figment of your imagination. And then Eddie talking about, oh, this is the 50-year anniversary of the GOAT, Terry Funk, winning the World Heavyweight Championship. And I just think about him watching this from up there, and my mom and my dad getting choked up. I was like, making me believe you're actually going to win this.
The promos enhanced the match for me, and just the overall quality of the match was already great. And I'm again, when it comes to this stuff, I'm more connected to Eddie Kingston and Samoa Joe. Sure. Not a knock on Speedball and Fletcher. Like both guys, we've interviewed Speedball. It's me and Jensen. I've spoken to Speedball, one of the nicest dudes.
I've interviewed Speedball more than any other.
I was like, SP3's interviewed Speedball like a million times. But yeah, Speedball's like one of the nicest dude. Every time I listen to Kyle Fletcher, like, I like him more and more. I think Kyle Fletcher is great as a heel. He's fantastic as a wrestler. There's obviously a lot more and a lot longer history with Joe and Eddie Kingston, so I'm more connected to them as well. So I feel more during that. And as Matt Hardy says, it's all about the feeling and the connection with these things, not the 5-star matches. They're just doing stuff for no reason.
Hey, all I know is that if I want a feeling, I'm going to turn on Speedball Mike Bailey versus Kyle Fletcher, because that made me feel some things at 9 o'clock, 9:30 p.m. evening. If I was in the UK, it would have been 2:30 a.m. and I would have had adrenaline in my veins from that matchup, because it just got better and better. Like 5 minutes in, you're like, okay, this is good. Then like 10 minutes in, they get the 10-minute mark. We're coming back from the commercial break, and I watched the fight feed for this as well. So I got to see the entire matchup. I got to see Speedball reversing the Snake Eyes attempt into a Poison Rana. I got to see all the aftermath after he hit the Tornillo. But man, that slam on the barricade is one I like. That's the second time in the C2 matches where I'm like, This is just way too dangerous that I don't want you to ever do that again. Kevin the Jet Knight with the explosiveness of his coast to coast dropkick, and Kyle Fletcher with the slam on the barricade and Speedball. Oh, that sucked for him. This is the most I've ever seen Speedball sell because he was really fucked. He was really fucked. Oh my God. That big ass mark on his back. Oh, that was the best selling he's ever done though. So it was great. It added a lot to the matchup because everything he was doing, whether he was on the comeback, whether he was taking pain from Fletcher, he was selling that back. And the crowd, because of his sympathy after that spot, it was like they got behind him even more and more. But at the back of their head, they still were like, he's not beating Kyle Fletcher. And I agree with the comment that was in the chat earlier. Someone said they should have put up the video that they put up on social media of Speedball earlier in the day meeting up with Glacier and the Cat. And I was like, oh my God, this is like Cobra Kai. This is like Miguel meeting up with John Kreese and Johnny Lawrence right before he's got the big All Valley. Like, this is basically the same thing. It's Speedball Mike Bailey getting ready for the All Valley. That was the first time where I was like, I think Speedy might win tonight. So that got me more into the matchup because as long as it was going and as good as it was getting, I was getting more invested in the matchup and more invested in the underdog getting the win, getting the upset win, Speedball beating Kyle Fletcher. And Kyle Fletcher just makes himself feel like this unstoppable machine. Like he has every move in his arsenal. He can have a reversal, but he just hits you with so much impact. He hits you way harder than anybody else would. But the best compliment I can give to this is that they had me convinced literally 3 times the match was over. I thought it was over on the time adventure. I thought it was over on the Ultimo Weapon. I was like, he's literally not hit that in a singles match yet. That's the first time he's hitting in a singles match. That would be great as the finish, and it wasn't the finish. He barely gets his shoulder up, and I love that sell. Kyle Fletcher's really good at the sell of the kick out, of the exhaustion of I'm barely gonna. He was trying to just grab the rope, but he literally couldn't even make it. So he had to get his shoulders slightly up, and it was perfect. And then Speedy, I thought it was over when he gets hit with the Alufa kick and then the brain buster. I'm like, that's the Kyle Fletcher special. It's over at 1, 2, and he got the shoulder up. I was like, what are we doing here? This is good. They are cooking on a whole other level. I was like, I literally went to Chrissy Love and Josh that I host the True Hill Heat flagship podcast with, and we do the matches of the week. So it's from Saturday night to Saturday morning. What was the best matches of the week? And I sometimes will have 10, 15, but it all matters who's on top. And Moxley and Takeshita had this on lock since Saturday. I've seen a whole bunch of great matches this week, but nothing was better than Takeshita and Moxley until Speedball and Fletcher. Takeshita and Moxley had match of the tournament for 4 days. That's all they could get. 4 days, and Fletcher and Speedball, that's the best match of the tournament. That might be up there with Will Ospreay and Darby Allin for the best Continental Classic match, or Ospreay and Okada from last year's final, as well as like the 3 best Continental Classic matches we've ever seen. Speedball and Fletcher, that felt on that level. This was another confirmation that Fletcher is the guy. He's the future of AEW. He's the guy you strap the rock into.
As reported by me.
And Speedball Mike Bailey is probably the most reliable, dependable, consistently great mid-card to upper mid-card guy you can have on a roster. And he's been such, in my opinion, him and the combination of getting him and Kevin Knight and then putting them together as a tag team, Jet Speed is the best signing of 2025 for AEW.
I love that they've found the role with Speedball of everyone knows he can just be a great TV wrestler. So just go out there and just let him have great TV matches. And then on top of that, because of the tag team with Kevin Knight, now you have great TV matches as a tag team or as a singles. Like there's a character to Speedball, but also it's just great wrestler going out there having great matches. And sometimes, especially in a company that does have the emphasis on the wrestlers, that works for him. So I like that they have utilized him in that manner because Gray's mentioning TNA fumbled Speedball so badly. To an
I wouldn't say
extent,
they fumbled. I wouldn't say they fumbled.
I wouldn't say fumble.
They could have
Fumble's a
done
term
more.
that
They could have done more with him for sure. The fact that he was a 3-time X Division champion and everybody and their mama was saying it's him and Josh are the best two people in this company. They could have he got one opportunity at the TNA World Title against Josh on an episode where they did like an hour-long matchup, which is one of the best Impact matches of all time. They could have done more with like getting him a title opportunity on pay-per-view or having him mix up more with the top stars in the company. They could have done that with him.
Yeah, he should have been elevated after all the X Division stuff. And the fact that he wasn't. And fumble's the term too many people like to just throw around, and I think it almost loses its value as much as it's been thrown around. I mean, if you think he should have been a top guy in the company, then sure, I understand the argument for fumble. Top guy, don't know. Do I think he should have at least gotten the opportunity to try in that role? Yes, 100%. But they do that with so many people, is they don't give them that opportunity to be the top guy.
Right now with Mustafa Ali.
Or they wait too long to do it. It's either they don't do it at all or they wait too long to do it. That's the story of TNA since its existence.
Pretty much.
Wait too long
Monty
or don't
Brown,
do it at all.
Monty Brown. That's the first example.
That's the story of TNA. Wait too long, don't do it all. But SP3, what you should not wait too long to do, what you should be doing right now, or at least after this show, is head over to auraframes.com and get yourself an Aura frame for the holidays. You can get it for the holidays. You can get it now and save it for next year. You can just load up, and this can be the gift for 5 straight years if you need to. Birthdays coming up, do it for that. Do not wait long. Do not fumble this opportunity. Get on this right now. Do not treat Aura frames like TNA treated Speedball Mike Bailey or TNA treated Monty Brown. Get your Aura frames right now. You get a gift box included. Every frame comes packaged in a premium gift box at no extra price. No extra price. You just get the gift box included with everything. And you can share photos and videos without a problem, effortlessly, straight from your phone, all year long. Put your phone up, get the Aura app, and put the photos right on the frame from the phone. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com. Get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver mat frames. You already know. Named number 1 by Wirecutter. Use the promo code FIGHTFUL at checkout. Aura Frames, AURA frames.com. Promo code FIGHTFUL. This is an exclusive deal for all the In the Weeds listeners. The frames sell out fast, so as I was saying, don't wait, don't fumble. Don't screw this up. Don't be TNA. Go to auraframes.com. Use the promo code FIGHTFUL. Save $35 off. Auraframes.com, everybody. Gift now, gift later, gift forever. Don't be TNA.
Great ad read.
I felt good about that one. That one felt good, I gotta say. That one felt pretty good. Setup, burying TNA is always nice.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Easy opportunity there as well. I like how I have to send when the ad read is, so they know that it actually gets done, and it's always around the same time every single time. Hour and 5 minutes, hour and 12 minutes, hour and 7 minutes have been.
Hey man, that's peak viewership. This is when the most people are watching. Middle of the show. Consistent. That's where you got to hit the ad reads.
Consistent.
People think you got to hit the ad reads at the beginning of the show. No, people are just coming into class. Class just started.
Try to hit it right in the middle. You should always try to hit it in the middle.
Kind of like what Jack Perry did when he bit Okada's dick off.
Hell yeah, the best match on the show: Jack Perry and Kazuchika.
No, you already ruined that. You already ruined that, my friend.
I did think about fully trolling and just saying that was the best match on the show, but I didn't have like a strong enough argument. I mean, I could have made an argument.
You had a good argument on Joe and Keith.
Yeah. I thought it was, again, if some people if people thought Fletcher and Speedball was better, I'm not going to argue with that. I thought it was a great match. Joe and Eddie was just more my taste. Okada and Jack Perry, I did very much enjoy, though, because all these Jack Perry doubters, all the Jack Perry haters out here, they got their comeuppance on this one. Jack Perry went out there and he did exactly what I knew he could do. Exactly what I've been saying he's going to do. And be the greatest wrestler alive and the greatest wrestler of all time. And he proved it against Kazuchika Okada. He carried Okada to his best match in TNA and AEW history. I don't know why I said TNA.
Like what? Like what are you talking about TNA?
I was looking at the chat from Michael and I saw TNA and so my brain just hit TNA. Yeah. He carried Okada to his greatest match in AEW and New Japan history.
You know?
And he lost because he's not selfish. He's like, no. Yeah. Let's put Okada over. Okada needs than I do.
You know what's kind of crazy? Jack Perry's 3 greatest matches were against Kenny Omega, Bryan Danielson, and Kazuchika Okada. Like he needs some of the greatest wrestlers of all time to have a great match.
It's kind of like he's Steph Curry and he had to carry Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, and Andre Iguodala.
At best, he is Horace Grant. That is what Jack Perry is. He is Horace Grant. Except he walks around with knives instead of goggles. That is what Jack Perry is. He is Horace Grant. He was on the Bulls with the elite. Now he's older and he's on the Los Angeles Lakers with Shaq and Kobe. That's what he is. That's what Jack Perry is. He is a role player, a glorified role player. That's what Horace Grant was. People used to say Horace Grant's an all-star. He's a glorified role player. That's Jack Perry. A pillar. He's a better pillar than the shitty pillar, Sammy Guevara, but that's about it.
Sammy Guevara.
But this, like I said earlier, this was not Jack Perry in the ring. This was Jungle Boy, got replanted from 2021 and actually just put on some long pants for a matchup. That he wrestled like Jungle Boy, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this matchup. You got the crowd getting behind him. You got Okada putting in, not like Okada versus Pac was a great matchup, but that was like Okada at a 6. That's at a 6, Okada. This was Okada at a 7. He was like, you know what? You were in the elite with me, so I'm actually gonna try. He can't even say try. He says try. He said, I'm a try. I'm not gonna try. I'm a try. So he did try a little bit. He did give him a little bit of something here, and it was a very good matchup and a good kind of like Jack Perry saying, "Hey guys, I'm here and I'm going to deliver. I'm going to give you just as good of a matches as everybody else, just not as great as Darby Allin."
I'm still so proud of my Jack Perry as Steph Curry. And Kenny is Clay. Danielson is Durant. And Okada is Andre Iguodala.
It's ridiculous.
New Japan Okada was Sixers Iguodala. People forget Sixers Iguodala was a problem.
Yeah, he was Sixers Iguodala. That is disrespectful.
But then,
what the hell are you talking about?
But then he came
and we've already established Okada is the Kevin Durant of the Don Callis family Golden State Warriors.
Sure, but this is Kevin Durant. Yeah, but no. No. This
He's
is
already Durant.
this
Jack
is
Perry,
different.
not Steph Curry. I will not listen to this nonsense. Say what you want to say, but move on from that.
Jack Perry, the greatest shooter of all time. I mean, kind of true in a way.
Man, Jack. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna give
Real buckets. Cry me a river.
Jack Perry is Weird Al Yankovic. He bites a lot. He bites a lot of lyrics.
Dude, when he bit Okada
biter.
in the dick,
He's a biter.
I laughed so hard. It's a good way to get out of it. We saw good.
It was a very unique, very innovative way to get out of the tombstone.
Yeah, just like when Eddie was biting Joe. Wife always advocates for like, why doesn't he just bite him? Pull his hair, pinch him. That's how you get out of these moves. It's like, yeah, people should do this a little bit more. Jack Perry took that advice. He's like, all right, you gonna do first tombstone? Nah, I'm biting your ass. I'm biting your front side of your ass.
Oh, Jimmy's gonna hate this. He's gonna hate that spot. He hates Jack Perry already.
Tell him that Jack Perry.
I'm not even gonna tell because we already filmed one of our first end of year videos. Me and Jimmy, we do tier list for every member of the AEW roster every year. So I'm not gonna even tell you where Jack Perry landed on our tier list.
Oh, Jimmy's a hater. I don't think, and you didn't defend Steph Curry enough to put him.
Steph Curry, I would, but not Jack Perry. Jack Perry is LaMelo Ball. That's who he is. Got a famous dad, and he got into basketball because of it.
You can't spell Perry and Curly without 2 R's and a Y. Same amount of letters in their last name. The parallels are all there. SP3, they're all there. Jack Perry loves real glass. Steph of glass. Okada is Andre Iguodala. Finals MVP, you know, when he wants to turn it up, he can turn it up.
No, this is preposterous. Everyone is better than Jack Perry. Who's the worst player in the league? That's Jack Perry.
That's not nice.
He's in the Continental Classic. He's the worst, and he's objectively, to me, see, bottom of the totem pole. I like Masquerade Dorado, so yeah.
Hater.
Sorry.
Why do you hate greatness?
I don't hate him. I like I said, I liked last night's matchup. I can like Jack Perry, but I do have to balance things out on this show if you're gonna compare him to a top 10 greatest player of all time.
Yes.
I take Roddy over Jack. I take Orange. Orange has not been booked very well since his return, but I still take him over Jack.
SP3, not a jack off, confirmed. Very sad.
Yep.
Babes of Wrath are the first ever AEW Tag Team Women's Champions. They defeated Timeless Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa. Potential upset. I think a lot of people thought that the Timeless Love Bombs were going to be the first champions, and they went with Babes of Wrath, which I don't have an issue with. Good on Harley Cameron. Big fan of Harley Cameron. The Cameron Crazies, as Louis has dubbed us here. And Willow getting a championship after mentioning that all her ops have a championship. I thought it was a good match, and I like to finish with Cameron hitting her finishing move, and then Willow finishing out with the babe with the bomb. What'd you think of this?
Thought it was a good matchup. I thought these ladies worked really well with each other, and they worked it in a way where it was a legit babyface versus babyface matchup. too many times in babyface versus babyface matchups in wrestling in general, you'll have one of the performers or whatever team is performing. They'll lean more heel and they'll work the heat. This was very back and forth. No one really had the heat for a long amount of time. Had some fun moments like the figure four and Indian Deathlock spot, Willow and Tony Storm going at it. Them just staring down with each other, and the reaction that I got from that Atlanta crowd was just like, dude, like how many more examples, Tony Khan, do you want to see that Willow they view on the same level as the biggest woman star in this company? Like, how many examples do you need? So I'm glad that he went the different direction, because I think most of us, when the tournament started, believed that the Timeless Love Bombs were going to win. But the Bays of Wrath picked up a lot of momentum. They still had the best matchup in the entire tournament, the first round with Mercedes and Athena. And I think that win right there is the thing that kind of catapulted them to this point where they decide to go with them as the first champions, because that first matchup worked out so well. They were a new team, but they just came together so naturally and they just fit. It's kind of like Jet Speed, where it was two people who you didn't think would work well with each other, and then you put them together and they're just a seamless match. That's Willow and Harley, and that promo afterwards was so likable, so genuine from them. Hearing Harley get all emotional winning her first championship, one of the quieter kind of like MVPs of the roster, just maximizing her minutes. Anytime she's on TV, she's entertaining, and she's gotten really good. She's gotten better in the ring. Like, she started off and I did not want to see her in the ring. I remember her first couple of matches when she was in the Outcast and she was facing like Tony Storm and stuff, and they were not good matches and it didn't look good, but she's figured out her character, this kind of eccentric, bubbly, over the top, hilarious human being that she is, who just works very well with the bubbly, always smiling Willow Nightingale. And they're just a very likable team that very easily got the crowd to be like, babes up rap, babes up rap, babes up rap, which is not a natural thing to chant at a wrestling show. So hats off to both ladies, and hats off to the Timeless Love Bombs, because they worked the match very well, and then they maintain their babyface status with the post-match respect. So high marks for everything here, but I will put this out here. I'm not holding out hopes that Tony Khan with the same kind of reverence that we got on this episode. This episode was probably the best presentation of the Women's Tag Team Championship tournament. That started in October. It is December. It started in October. It ends in December. I'm going to hold out hope that Harley and Willow are just so effortlessly entertaining that he is able to come up and do stuff for them. But I would be a lot more confident that he's going to do something with the Women's Tag Team Championships if the Timeless Love Bombs has one, because I know for sure he's going to book Tony Storm. I don't really know in my heart 100% lock and key he's going to book Willow and Harley well as the first ever champs.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, all right, they did the tournament. Tony's very good at tournaments, and now you got to get a follow-up that makes sense off of this, and not just random title defenses, because Tony's very good at random title defenses. I need something substantial with this. So I need stories, not 5-star matches when it comes to this. But overall, like, I'm glad they did the tournament. I'm glad. I'm happy for Harley and Willow, and hopefully it leads to an actual division and stories within the division, because Harley and Willow were singles talents that paired together. Like, look, I still think Willow should be the one to dethrone Mercedes for the TBS title. And maybe that doesn't happen for a little bit until they lose the titles. But I do not want to see, because AEW does this too much, especially in the women's division, but even in the men's, it's like, oh, you have a champ, because they have all these championships. You have a championship, you're going to face another champion. It's like, well, just have the champion defend their actual title and do something with those titles, instead of, oh, Willow is now one half of the women's tag team champions. Well, now she's going to go after the TBS title. Like, well, what does this mean for the tag team title? Well, they're still there. They still exist. But right now, Willow needs to go after this title. I mean, we literally just saw that with Mercedes. Mercedes has the TBS title. Oh, she's going to go after the world title. I know they're setting up Thekla and Chris Statlander. But Statlander is the women's champion, and she's doing tag team stuff right now.
And she hasn't legitimately been on this show in weeks. All we get
Yeah.
is either a vignette, a backstage
And,
segment, or a backstage promo that lasts about 1 minute from Chris Statlander. And we got that on last night's show, which was really kind of a repeat from Collision, where the Triangle of Madness was searching for them by beating up the women's locker room. And Chris Statlander came in. She looked good in the segment because she got to kind of stand tall against 3 other people. But yeah, we could get better. Like, and now that the women's tag team tournament is over, we need to establish the hierarchy and what the actual feud is for the women's world championship. I think that the fact that you have it on Collision, that's good. I know Jamie Hayter is going to get a big reaction out there, and all the ladies are going to work hard with Statlander and Hayter versus Sisters of Sin, but we need to figure something out as far as like establishing who's in the women's world championship scene. I know right now it seems like it's going to be Statlander, Tekla, Jamie Hayter for the next couple of months. Who's in the TBS title scene? Who's going to be Mercedes' next challenger? We need to figure that out as well. And then we also gotta figure out who's gonna be the first challengers for Willow and Harley. So now you gotta put even more brain power into the women's division. That's why I said I don't have that much hope.
Swerve and Hangman teamed to defeat Shibata and Hobbs in a tornado tag team match. Thought this was good. And on this show, it was different because you at least had the crowd brawling and the weapons and things like that. So something different, but I didn't think it was anything like stand out, considering they do a ton of brawls every single week on the show. Like, I thought the big bitches brawl the other week was much better than this match. So I
thought that this was better than that match last week, the Hollywood.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, the Hollywood hardcore death match. It was
The
fun.
holiday.
Like I said, I said last week, it was goofy. It was goofy fun. Turn off your brain, goofy fun. This was not. This was actually meaningful because of Swerve and Hangman working together. I thought this was a lot of fun. I thought it was a very good matchup. Well, of what we got of the matchup, because the match doesn't really begin in the crowd. They're just brawling before we get to the match. So it felt like an Attitude Era-esque type of rivalry and type of matchup. So I did like that. I like the interactions between Swerve and Hangman. As soon as they looked at each other, it was like, okay, we're getting something here. This is the first time they're looking at each other the whole matchup, and then they just worked seamlessly together and worked so well to put all about what's going to happen next. What's next for this whole story, and we got a little bit of that from Hangman with the post-match promo where he said that he is going to challenge the winner of Joe versus Kingston at World's End. Are we going to get a Joe and Hangman 3, or are we going to get a triple threat with Swerve? We got to figure that out. But I like the fact that he did that promo, because I was saying the only thing that was really lacking for me from last night's show is kind of a look forward. They set up matches for next week's show, but we got a big pay-per-view at the end of the month. And yeah, we got the Continental Classic, which is the main draw for World's End, which is why the final should be the main event. But I will keep saying that until it is the main event. I think that this could be a great main event as well if they do the triple threat. I think that's the route that they should go for the world title.
We got to get Hangman and Hook at some point.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I was actually glad he didn't mention Hook in his promo.
I did like last week his promo of like, I battled all through all this stuff, and then fucking Hook is how I lose the title.
That was great. That was a great line, because everybody and their mama was saying that.
We do. Look, I understand a lot of people don't want to see it. You kind of have to do a Hangman and Hook match.
Do ya?
Do
you really? Because no. Because when we did the whole Brian got turned on by Blackpool Combat Club / Death Riders. Everybody was like, oh, we need to do the Brian and Wheeler Yuta matchup. We need to do Brian and Claudio. Claudio's the one that stomped the chair on him. Brian, he hasn't been back. We haven't got it. No one's complaining about it. I think we're good.
Because Brian died. They killed Brian.
But I think we're good. I think we're good. We don't have to do it. I think we're good.
I think my issue with this match compared to the big bitches brawl last week was one, there was no Luther.
Exactly.
Two, Shibata during the brawling looked like he wanted to be anywhere else in the world.
Oh man, Shibata was taking all of the hits to the head very gingerly because he knew he had to take a fucking kick to that side of the head at the end of the matchup.
Yeah. Shibata looked like he didn't want any part of that whole thing. And three, we talked about it last week. Like, I don't buy the ops as like anything, any type of threat to certainly to Swerve and Hangman either. I was like, all right, this is fun, but I don't actually feel like you guys have a real chance to this. At least with the tag team match last week, Megan and Marina had a real chance to actually win that match, especially being part of the tournament and Babes of Wrath winning already. It's like, oh, they could set up heel versus face here. Again, we talked about it last week. Hobbs and Shibata did not feel credible to me. And so I'm watching this brawl and I'm watching like this felt more, and this isn't a bad thing, mind you. This felt more about, all right, how are Swerve and Hangman going to do together? And that portion of it was good. Yeah.
The best example for anyone who's not an AEW fan and you're just a WWE fan and you want to understand what Jeremy's trying to say, it was basically last night's matchup was the main event of Bad Blood 2024. It was Roman and Cody versus Solo and Jacob Fatu. It wasn't about the tag team matchup. It was about Cody and Roman teaming up. Last night's matchup wasn't about the tornado tag. It was about Swerve and Hangman teaming up.
Yeah, that's why I like the Swerve and Hangman stuff, but I didn't like, not to say I didn't like, but the overall match, it was just tough for me to be like, all right, sure. It was there. It was good. The Swerve and Hangman stuff was great because I'm like, all right, this is what I want to see. The overall match itself, I'm like, I just... Hobbs and Shibata got beat up by Hangman last week. Now you add Swerve. Yeah, they're gonna get their asses kicked in this. So that was the story of the match,
week.
Though.
I said that last week. It was like, why do you need these guys? You watched them on your own.
Yeah, exactly. Anything else from Dynamite? Those are all the matches. Anything promo wise that you want to talk about?
Stokely Hathaway, let's fucking go. You know me. You know it's Thursday. You know what that means. It's time for the FTR and Stokely Love Fest because none of y'all will do it. I gotta do it. Stokely Hathaway knocked this promo out the park again. Last week it was FTR and Stokely. This week it was Stokely on his own talking about addiction. You know, some people think the greatest narcotic is on these streets. But no, it's in front of this camera. They believe they deserve TV time. They believe they deserve championships. And that's what's wrong with Juice Robinson and Austin Gunn. So you will have your title match next week, but we will fix your addiction. Oh, man. I was like, Stokely just knocked this promo out the park, 90 seconds. And he just made me hyped for this tag team matchup next week. And I was wondering why it was going to be on next week's show, because the way the promo was, it made it sound like it was going to be on Collision Winter is Coming this Saturday. But I prefer it to be on Wednesday because more people can see it. And I know Jimmy Macaram won't watch on Saturday, so he will be able to watch FTR in all their glory.
This is an example of just a home run promo of you got 60, 90 seconds. Go out there, explain why this match is meaningful, explain when it takes place, and explain why your team is going to win or the other team or person, in this case team, is going to win and the other team's going to lose. And that's exactly what Stokely did. And do it in an entertaining way. And Stokely's very good at that portion of it as well. It's like, yeah, you don't need 5-minute promos on every single time, things like that. Like they've done the longer in-ring promos and those were good as well. But this quick little backstage thing here, this feud it's been very simple, like
simple but effective.
Yeah, exactly, and it's been a great story. And Matt Hardy probably hates it.
Yeah, he probably hates it with a passion.
Matt Hardy's gonna watch.
Good story.
He's gonna watch. Not to say Matt Hardy probably likes the story, but he's gonna watch the match, and it's gonna be a really good match. I'm sure of that. And then Matt Hardy's gonna be like, "Well, what's the story to this?" It's like, "Well, they told a very good story leading up to this match."
Yeah, I agree. I was gonna say that too, Power Driver finisher. I was like, Stokely and Don Callis are like two of the MVPs of 2025 for AEW. Like they are, it's a two-horse race for me as far as like best non-wrestler of the year. I think Callis has the edge over Stokely because the Stokely and FTR stuff didn't start until like the spring, but Don Callis was good in that the post match with Jack Perry. I thought that was effective, more effective than last week's segment with him calling out the Young Bucks. I thought him trying to convince Jack Perry, because we all know Jack Perry was this person last year, so it was believable that Jack Perry would be like, you know what, fuck it. I'm with you guys. Like that's so I enjoyed that segment way more than the segment last week with calling out the Bucks.
I did like the segment last night trying to convince Jack Perry, and then it leads to the Bucks did come out. Luchasaurus came out, the Bucks came out, and then we had the backstage where the Bucks and Kenny are going to team again against the Don Callis family. And
this is the first time they're Don Callis family, guys. So don't just because he has the apathy, like you've seen this before. You've never actually seen this before.
No,
like,
I know.
And the fact that it's gonna be Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks versus Konosuke Takeshita, Kazuchika Okada, and Hechicero. For all my I have like a few nitpicks and criticism of the Elite. It doesn't feel like it has the same energy or same passion behind it that it used to with the Elite being together, or the story behind it that it used to. But I think Don Callis is the perfect kind of heel foil for the Elite to come together, the fans to get behind them and make this work. I think this is going to be great next week.
It's a good match. I'm over Kenny Omega wrestling Don Callis, people. That's my complaint about this. I am
because I was thinking, that is true. It's been 2 years. It has been 2 years.
That's my complaint. Is I'm just like, okay, cool. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks against Don Callis, people. Specifically just Omega against Don. So gonna be a great match. I am looking forward to it. I am just hoping that it's like, can we get Kenny doing something else after this? If you want to still team with the Elite and wrestle other people, cool, fine. I'm tired of the Don Callis stuff.
I'm exhausted on complaining about I want to see Kenny Omega singles matches. So I've just gone to the point where I'm just accepting my fate, and that I have to see him in trios. No, I have to see him in trios matches. Don't put words in my mouth, Joe Pearl. I have to see him in trios matches, and this is one of the better trios matches I could see them in. So I'm fine with this.
I'm okay with him doing trios matches. I'm okay with him teaming with the Elite. I would just like to see him against Don Callis family members. That's all. But if he's going to face Don Callis family members, you could do a lot worse than Okada, Takeshita, and Hechicero. At least we're going to get some Okada and Takeshita interactions out of this as well. And I'm very much looking forward to that portion as well. Anything else from Dynamite?
No, I think that was everything. Great show. Probably spring breakthrough, blood and guts, winter is coming, Grand Slam Mexico. And I know Jeremy will say his show in Cleveland, but I would probably say the first show in Atlanta back in February that had Swerve and Ricochet in the main event, where Ricochet stole Prince Nana's jacket. That's another example of what I was saying earlier about stuff that happens early in the year. People just forget by the year end. I want to see more love for the Swerve Ricochet feud. That's one of the best feuds of the year. That's one of the best feuds of the year, but because it's from January to March, not a lot of people are going to mention it on the year-end award. I've seen people who are not putting Toni Storm and Mariah May as one of the best feuds of the year because it was early in the year. How do you objectively have a top 5 where you watch more than just WWE, you watch AEW, you watch other places, and you have a top 5 best feuds of the entire year, and you don't put Toni Storm and Mariah May? I don't see how that's possible and how you can objectively say that you're a wrestling fan. Like, that's my feud of the year. I agree with you, Grace. That's my feud of the year as well. But at least have it in the top 5 because it is one of the most impactful. It made a new star who's gone over to WWE. Toni Storm, that's a big reason why she is a runner, going to be in the running for Women's Wrestler of the Year. Like, come on, let's be serious.
I mean, it was good, but it wasn't as good as Seth Rollins and CM Punk.
Dude, I got so mad because everybody put their votes in on the Sports Illustrated staff. Got so mad seeing people put that in there. They not only did they put it in their feud of the year, people. I saw somebody put Seth Rollins and CM Punk's hatred as the best storyline of the year. I'm sorry. No. You know what's even worse? Oh, I'll pull it back to curtain. I'm not going to expose who it was. I'm not going to do that. That would be unprofessional of me.
Everyone knows it's already
someone Rick. No, it wasn't Rick. That's all I will tell you. Someone on the Sports Illustrated staff for the top 5 promotions of the year, Jeremy. I literally had a brain aneurysm yesterday. This is the top 5.
NWA.
WWE. AEW. TNA. AAA. NXT. I was like, you said WWE 4 fucking times! What the fuck? Said NXT! I was like, what the fuck? We see TV shows now! Holy shit! This is a writer. This is someone that people that wrestling fans actually will read, and they actually put that shit. And I had respect for this person before I saw that shit.
The top 5 promotions of the year are obviously Ring of Hallucinations, Ring of Hallucinations, Ring of Hallucinations, Ring of Hallucinations, and Ring of Hallucinations.
I'd rather that than try to put WWE 4 times in different ways. You might as well said the best promotions are WWE, Raw,
honestly,
SmackDown, Evolve. NXT.
Yeah, I was gonna say cowardly that he put AEW and not Evolve.
No, he should have put
WWE ID.
No, GCW Bloodsport.
WWE ID, yeah, GCW Bloodsport, just that show. Yeah. Maybe you could have gone Pro Wrestling Noah. They had a lot of WWE influence this year.
Could have, yeah, you could have read that.
This has that full on like co-opted WWE like these other promotions are. But,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, AAA is literally owned by WWE. NXT is literally just a brand.
It's just WWE. A brand. I was like, yo, like, and it was the year. I'm like, I literally said it on the call too, on the meeting. I was like, now we voting for TV shows. That's crazy. Like, I'm sorry. I am sorry. I just don't know how you could do that. It's promotion of the year. Like I gave some people like benefit of the doubt because there were also the option of show of the year, and some people were putting WWE MSG Raw. And I was like, you know what? I will say maybe they didn't understand that show of the year means best major show of the year, not weekly show of the year. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna go.
But then you got to put PLE of the year.
Yeah, but like also my whole big issue with people pitting WWE MSG Raw. I was like, which one? There was 2 this year. Mm-hmm. They didn't even do that. They couldn't even give you a fucking date. Like what?
So we're gonna make this relatively quick, and I say that we're gonna have a 5-hour discussion about this. NWA is the promotion of the year. Let's be honest, it 100% is. But because it's the thumbnail, and because I've already admitted I did it just for the John Cena tie-in of story and 5-star matches, because John Cena more known for stories than 5-star matches, and because I gave an example of I was more connected to Eddie and Joe, which was, I don't know if it was a 5-star match. I don't do match ratings. I'm sure nobody had it as a 5-star match, but I liked it more than Fletcher and Speedball, which I think most people agree was a better overall match. I just preferred the story of Joe and Eddie. So I've already kind of tied all this together. But for people who don't know what the reference to the thumbnail or the headline is, Matt Hardy and Dax Harwood tweeted yesterday. I don't even call it like an argument because they didn't really go back and forth. But it all started because Matt on his podcast was like, I hope TNA focuses more on stories and, AEW can have their 5-star matches. That's for them. And John Alba correctly pushed back on a lot of this and was like, well, you can do both. Like, it doesn't have to be one or the other. And Matt was very steadfast in his story type thing. And then Dax, shortly after all of these headlines from the podcast came out, simply tweeted, let me pull this up so I make sure I get the wording correct. I don't want to misrepresent the comments of Dax Harwood. Dax says, I think in wrestling, the older you get, the more you complain about 5-star matches. I also think the older you get, the more you secretly wish you had whatever a 5-star match even is. And then he says, somebody called Dave a moron, and he said he's probably wrestling's most accurate historian. While I may not agree with some of his star ratings, that doesn't mean he's wrong. That means he has a different opinion than I do, which is absolutely okay. To me, Brainbusters and Heart Foundation at SummerSlam 89 is a 5-star match. To Dave, it is 2. Who's wrong? Who's right? Who gives a fuck as long as we're all enjoying wrestling? Matt replied, I think on wrestling to Twitter, if you're going to decide to moan about someone's take, you should at them. Then he adds Dax. I also think the older you get, I give less than a fuck about what someone on the internet thinks a 5-star match is. What I care about is what our matches are drawing at the box office and how they make people feel. I enjoy FTR's work ethic and talent. I also think AEW emphasizes matches more than story, character, emotional investment, and makes it challenging to grow your audience from a niche core, which is my opinion. I want to succeed. It's good for the industry. I love and enjoy great matches that get me emotionally invested. I don't secretly wish I had 5-star matches. Whatever that is, who's right, who's wrong. And he, repeats Dax's words. And Dax replies that I had no idea what you're talking about, why you think this is even about you, or why you're so upset with me. I only ever had good things to say about you and your brother and what you meant to tag team wrestling. I thought until today we always had a great relationship. SP3, you also got some clout off of this by doing some replies.
I always take an opportunity to take an opportunity.
Yeah, I respect it.
And especially cloud anyone from the TLC 3 that wasn't Edge and Christian. That's the Christian mark. I will take every opportunity when they do something stupid to call out Hardys and Dudleys. I love that response, Mike. Exactly. Dax Harwood. Yeah. Even if the tweet was about him, that was the perfect response. Like, Nick, this man about you. I was like, that's what made me put up my tweet. I was like, moral of the story is old wrestlers don't only get upset or triggered by 5-star discussion. They get totally irrational if they believe your tweet is even objectively about them. If it applies, then that's on you. That's not on him.
I always think of
tag me in wrestling Twitter. I've seen that do so many subs. How much of a hypocrite are you?
I think of the Kevin Nash quote. I'm like, motherfucker, not everything's about you. I think this whole thing is dumb, honestly. Like, we have discussions about stories and 5-star matches. I don't know why people use one to knock the other. It really doesn't make sense to me. This is why I listened to the podcast with Alba and Matt. I'm glad John Alba pushed back on a lot of that stuff, because Matt saying that we don't care about 5-star matches and we want to do good stories and blah, blah, blah. Like, you can have both. And a lot of times they tie into each other. I probably rate matches higher that have a good story than just, I know it is a good match. Again, I will use the Eddie and Joe example. I like that more because I was more invested into them. Now, that's because they have 20 years of work behind them that Fletcher and Speedball do not have. So it's easier to be invested. 20 years from now, if Fletcher and Speedball run back that same match, It might be the greatest match of all time. I don't think they'll move quite as well, but it might be the greatest match of all time because I'm like, oh man, remember they had that match 20 years ago and they played off of a lot of that, and then all the matches they've had since then. Like, it's easier to invest. And this is what Matt tried to say after the Dudley's match, which I didn't really agree with, of, this is what we do. They get people invested in this. This is real investment. Everybody's invested in the Hardys and the Dudleys. Yeah, because you have 20 years of history for people to get invested in. So yes, it is easier for people to get invested in your stories when you have that much history. It is harder for people to get invested in someone who's only been doing this for a few years, or someone who's only been on television for a few years. You got to give the audience a reason to get invested in those guys. And in AEW and in other promotions, but AEW does put an emphasis on this type of stuff, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. They put an emphasis on really great matches. So it's not a surprise that, hey, how do we get invested in Speedball? Oh, we had this really great match? Okay, I'm now a big fan of Speedball. I'm now more invested in Speedball. It all works together in this. And when Matt Hardy, of all people, talks about, like, I wanted to slow things down, and don't do all these high risk, and it's like, yeah, you can say that now because your body's beat up and you have just years to get the experience and everything. Were people telling you that in the early 2000s? And were you listening to them in the early 2000s? Because how did you get over? You went out there and you had really fantastic car crash matches that the people weren't super invested in from a character and a story standpoint, because your story for the first ladder match was the tit. Who can win the managerial services of Terry? That's what it's called.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
The Terry
Invitational Tournament. Yeah. The tit. That was the story of the first ladder match between the Hardys and Edge and Christian. No one cared about that story. They're like, all right, sure. Yeah. It's the
Matt had a good character about 6 years into his WWE run. That's when he becomes Matt Hardy version 1, which is the cool character you're probably referring to. If not that, you are referring to 3 years after that, when he becomes Matt Hardy, deranged and bitter ex-boyfriend. That's the two characters that would be cool characters. Or you're talking about 10, 11 years after that, when he becomes broken Matt Hardy. Like, yeah, Matt's had cool characters throughout his whole career. He's had like 3 to 4 different ones. Like Money Matt is another one. He's great. I all of this, and I don't know why he always is bringing up like AEW. Like, it's very obvious from any time he talks about AEW, Matt is still very bitter about that. Like, I'm sorry, that's a hot take, but anytime I hear him talk about it, it's very much, I'm upset that our run went the way that it did, and that I think that they could have done more with us, and oh, what I'm doing is great right now. What they're doing over there, they're not doing it right. I'm doing it right over here. That's literally 100% of his takes whenever he brings up AEW. It's very much, what we're doing here is much better than over there, and they could have done so much more with us, and they're upset that I'm not there anymore. That, and doesn't make me want to like root for him or like take his takes actually serious, because you're not saying a take from a place of what your tweet is saying of, oh, I want all of wrestling to be gay. Oh, I want AEW to grow. I want AEW to be great. Well, everything you're saying is in exact contrast to that, because all you're doing is basically elevating or basically profiting off of tribalism. That's all he really does nowadays, it seems. It seems like he very much profits off of tribalism. He has some takes, and maybe sometimes we'll hear his actual thoughts, but you are very much, you are benefiting from all of this talk of putting A company against B company, and it's working out for you. And now we're talking about you on this show when I really don't want to talk about you at all. Not since One Final Table. Since I had to sit through that 20-minute snore fest with 55 and 60-year-olds.
5-star match. You didn't get the storytelling.
Go ahead, put me through the table. Put me through the table. Go ahead. good.
You didn't understand the storytelling, SP3. You didn't understand the box office and the crowd reaction of that. What's very, very funny is, you want to talk about emotional connection and crowd reaction and all of that stuff. What was the crowd hottest for last night on AEW?
Speedball Mike Bailey versus Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah. A match that had the build-up was these two got to wrestle because it's a round robin tournament. That's the build-up for this match.
Matt's take is so freaking dated. Like, how can you say that about AEW after 2025? AEW doesn't focus on stories. You can say some of their stories are not good. I say that all the time, trust me. But you cannot say AEW doesn't put an emphasis on stories. I'm in like 2 to 3 different end of year awards thing, and it seems like unanimous through 3 different awards things or votings that Hangman Adam Page's redemption is the best story of the year from a majority of professional wrestling fans. That was the best story, and it was done by AEW. To me, the second best story in wrestling this year was by AEW, and that's a downfall of Jon Moxley stemming from him losing at All In and everything that they've done the last couple of months. Timeless Tony Storm and Mariah May, Swerve Strickland and Ricochet, Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher, Will Ospreay coming together, bringing Swerve and Hangman together, the Swerve and Hangman story, Ospreay against Hangman Adam Page, the 2 top baby faces fighting for the right to get the world title. Come on, man.
People have this convoluted take on what a quote-unquote story is, because AEW doesn't do 20-minute, for the most part, 20-minute promos when it comes to these things. And so people are like, well, if you're not doing a 20-minute promo, what kind of story are you really telling? Like, well, there's a 3-minute backstage segment, if that. There's a video that might be, and there's other interactions going on. I mean, how much of the Swerve and the Hangman stuff was just kind of backstage stuff? Their big sit down was a backstage thing. It was not in front of the crowd. Like, they do a lot of backstage stuff. We didn't even talk about it during the Dynamite recap, but the Jon Moxley promo last night.
That was great.
It was great. Claudio wasn't there, and like Garcia like stood up and almost like interrupted Jon Moxley during that. I was like, oh, okay. But again, this is backstage stuff going on because they don't do a ton of 20-minute soliloquies and they'll go, well, where's the story with all of this? It's like, well, you can tell stories in a variety of ways. And again, matches also tell stories.
Exactly.
The match between Fletcher and Speedball told one story. The match between Eddie Kingston and Samoa Joe told a different story. Even if you had no idea who those people were going into the match, you didn't know any of the promos, you didn't see any of the vignettes, you could see the difference in the stories between those two matches. At least I hope you could when it came to those two matches and the stories those specific matches were trying to tell. You knew when you were watching those matches, oh, Fletcher is this physical beast, and Speedball Mike Bailey is doing everything he can to keep up with him. And Fletcher is just the epitome of confidence right now at 2-0, and Speedball feels like the more desperate wrestler. And as the match dragged on, and as they got more worn out, you could see the exhaustion weighing in on both men, and Fletcher hit everything he could on Speedball and couldn't put him down, and Speedball hit everything he could on Fletcher and couldn't put him down, but then he finally got into the pen with the basically like a sunset flip, like a clutching sunset flip.
Clutching the legs and the arms.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, he finally got a move that had enough leverage, had enough lockup to where Fletcher could not kick out. There's the story. Joe and Eddie. Eddie didn't hit his best shots, like, because Joe ducked the spinning back fist. And, while
he didn't hit the DDT either.
Yeah, like Eddie could not get in his best shots. But Eddie, you could see he was fighting for his life out there against Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, you could see, was this cocky little dick who was like, yeah, this guy's good. He ain't on my level. I'm on a different level than this guy. Let me salute the camera while I got this guy in a hold. And Eddie, the desperation of, I got to bite this guy to get out of this thing. Like, completely different stories in there, but the stories are there.
But look at New Japan Pro Wrestling. New Japan Pro Wrestling doesn't do promos. They don't do backstage segments like that. They do post-match interviews and stuff like that that plays into storylines. But a lot of their storytelling is all in the ring. Even the build up to big matches, it's done through freaking multi-man matches where you get the small interactions between these guys that basically tell you what the story of the actual match is going to be. Wrestling is a medium that there is no one guaranteed way to tell a story, or there is no one way to make sure that your business turns around or that you're selling out every show and that you're doing great in the TV rating. There's no one way. So that's why I get personally annoyed by these old wrestlers who are trying to tell you my way is the only way that works. Your way's never gonna work. Like, shut up, you old fool. Like, go eat your vitamins or something.
I think to cap it all off, wrestling has more than one way to tell a story. Wednesday, SP3.
Moment of Wednesday. I saw it this morning, but I will say Bryan Danielson's speech to Eddie Kingston after his loss / Stokely Hathaway's 90-second promo.
You already know where I'm going. My moment of Wednesday. Jack Perry out here. Because if you ain't jacking off, you deserve to have your dick bitten.
There you go. There you have it, folks.
We got time? We got time? SP3? What time is it?
I think so. It's 12:00. It's time for the C-suite. The C-suite. It's time for the C-suite. The C-suite. It's time for the C-suite. The C-suite. It's time for the C-suite, where we watch C-level WWE shows in the C-suite. And you see her on the screen, folks, so you know we gotta talk about her. Nikita Big Cat Lyons, Vicky Steamboat, Flex Cougar. You can look, but you can't touch. You keep dreaming about the stars above, because she's Thicky Bella. Nikita Lyons was on the show, ladies and gentlemen, but she was too busy trying to dance and taunt people. She got into a dance battle with Mason Holiday. Unfortunately, Mason Holiday was at ringside and not her opponent. Her opponent was Layla Diggs. So she lost that matchup due to that distraction. It was a regular WWE finish, as we all expect a regular WWE finish to be. I'm trying to ruin my Big Cat love. Big Cat should never lose. She was robbed. The Big Cat. Vicky Bella. Like, what are we doing? Come on, man. Anyway, so frustrated. I don't even want to talk about this show anymore. No, I do, because we got multiverse action, y'all. Multiverse action. Multiverse action. You know what that means. It's time to put the worlds of the C-suite together, because we had the debut of WWE LFG's own, formerly known as Roxanne's boyfriend, but now we're calling him Drake Monroe. He picked up a huge win representing the WWE Performance Center, because that's really become the focus of the show, is WWE ID versus WWE Performance Center. But we got a big win by Drake Monroe, who picked up the win over Dante Chen, beat him in like just over 5 minutes. A surprising victory for Drake Monroe. I did not expect him to win, because Dante Chen actually does win on Evolve. He doesn't win on NXT, but he actually wins on Evolve. Chuy Martinez interviewed him after for the warm welcome. He plans to take what he learned at LFG, take it to Evolve. But then we have the PC ID haters, Presley and Riggins, they walked up to him. They wanted Drake to join their team against the WWE ID talent. Jake said he just got here, so he's not ready to form any type of alliance. So we'll see what happens there. But the whole WWE ID, WWE PC was really the focus of the show because of the main event. Well, we got some segments leading up to that. We saw Shawn Legacy talking to the WWE ID folks, talking about getting ready for the main event where he's in a number one contenders matchup against Tate Wilder. We saw Tate Wilder talking to the WWE PC ID haters of Keanu Carver, Presley, and Riggins backstage. They were trying to get him on side because next week, Timothy Thatcher let us know they are doing a WWE ID versus WWE PC showdown, a gauntlet match to determine what is the powerful force in Evolve. Is it the ID or is it the PC? What letters do you represent? That's what we're going to find out next week. Speaking of which, we found out who was better on this show as Shawn Legacy picked up the win over Tate Wilder to become the number one contender for the Evolve Men's Championship. This came due to the ID and PC teams coming down to ringside. A huge brawl broke out where Cappuccino Jones accidentally hit Tate Wilder, leading to his loss in the matchup. So Shawn Legacy gets another opportunity at the Evolve Men's Championship after losing to Jackson Drake in New York City at Gold Rush. He gets another opportunity. I would assume he's finally going to win the Evolve Men's Championship. Meanwhile, with no Zeta Steel, the Vanity Project, put your two fingers up in the chat. Dum 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 dum. They're just in a bachelor pad. Their place is trashed. It looks like my college dorm room. It's just got red cups everywhere, got ping pong tables. These guys look hung the hef over, but they were very excited to see Nikita Lyons on their screen because they're just like us. The big cat is their favorite. They like the big cat too. Everyone likes the big cat. We heard from It's Gall, who feels like he is the hottest free agent of this whole PC ID rivalry because he is an ID affiliate, but he does a lot of working out at the PC. So It's Gall is the number one free agent right now. He picked up a win though against Eli Knight with the Blue Thunder Bomb here. So he's got some momentum following the loss of his tag team partner previously, Troy Yearwood. Backstage, we heard from Charlie Dempsey, who's got a matchup. He wants to challenge Timothy Thatcher to prove who is the number one technical wrestler in all of WWE. Carly Bright doesn't want to be Kendall Gray's just her friend, her sidekick anymore. She wants to go out on her own because Kendall Gray is the GOAT and she's on to bigger and better things. She done forgot about Carly Bright. You can easily put Carly Bright in Ren QC. Ren QC is not an actual thing. It's just two people. You can make it a third and put Carly Bright in it. But Kendall Gray is just so about getting all the gold, all the championship. She's about to be NXT Women's Champion. She's like, all right, cool. Carly, just stop being so damn nice. Gave us some good advice. See, Kendall Gray, despite being selfish, she's still a good friend. And I think that was all. That was all from the show. Yeah, that was it.
I'm very curious how this ID versus PC match goes next week. They should bring in the people who are invading TNA since they're. I mean, Charlie Dempsey is now on this show. Lexus King loses it all the time anyway. Has High Rise been on Evolve before?
Yeah, they have. They have been before.
So get High Rise there, and then Stax can show up as well. Why not? And they're feuding with the ID talent and TNA. Figure out who is who, you know?
They're feuding with everybody, it seems. Oh, we also had to mention NXT this week because Shiloh Hill, baby! Shiloh Hill made his debut, getting a victory over Lexus King, former Heritage Cup champion. I think in legacy form, now Shiloh Hill is a former Heritage Cup champion.
I don't think it quite works like that.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Shiloh Hill, the biggest star in NXT, and he still got his theme song. Feel the thunder. Oh, feel the thunder. Oh, and we got to bring up in the C-suite as well Tyra May Steele and PJ Vasa was on Monday Night Raw this week. Y'all might not know this, but I knew it. I peeped game as soon as I saw it. The Maxine Dupree vignettes, the people she was tapping out were LFG people. We're everywhere. C-suite supremacy.
A lot of wrestling over these past few days, SP3. You had your matches of the weekend, but now from Tuesday to Wednesday, what were your matches? Top 5 matches for the past couple of days.
All right. Thursday, December 11th. Shout out to my sister. It's her birthday.
Oh, happy birthday to Sister SP3.
Yes. Honorable mention for this top 5. We got Babes of Wrath versus Timeless Love Bombs. Very fun matchup. I gave it 3.5 stars. And we got Kazuchika Okada versus Jack Perry from the Continental Classic from Dynamite. I gave that 3 3/4 stars. Both very good matches. Just missed out on the cut. Number 5 from the NJPW World Tag League earlier this week. Bishamon versus War Dragons. This was to determine who would make it to the playoff blocks, the playoff stage of the World Tag League. Very hard-hitting matchup. Shingo and Drilla have made a very good tag team. Really have exceeded expectations in that regard. I give that match 4 stars. Then you got Samoa Joe versus Eddie Kingston from AEW Dynamite Winter is Coming. Excellent brawl. Eddie Kingston feeling like he's come back to form, and that felt like an official Eddie Kingston Yonkers performance. 4 stars for that one, the main event from Dynamite. Number 3, Obafemi versus Javon Evans from WWE NXT. Just a straight up banger. These two guys are the faces of NXT and should be the faces of this company for the next decade. We should be seeing these guys fight for the WWE Championship one day because they're the perfect match. A monster in Oba, a high flying, likable babyface in Javon. They just work so well together. I give that match 4 1/4 stars. Number 2, TMDK versus Bishamon from World Tag League semifinals. That was on Wednesday morning. Oh, man, this was probably the best match of the tournament so far. Zack Sabre Jr. and Hiroki Goto, another one of the most underrated rivalries of 2025. These guys have had excellent matches, the new beginning, the title change from Zack, and then here with Bishamon, Roy Uyawa and Yoshihashi added to the hard-hitting, strong-style nature of this matchup. Best match of the tournament for me, I gave it 4.5 stars. And number 1 for this day, it is Speedball Mike Bailey, Kyle Fletcher, AEW Dynamite Winter is Coming. The absolute best match of the C2 so far for me. One of the best matches ever they've done on the Continental Classic. One of the best TV matches of the entire year. Just a balls to the walls, high impact, sensational matchup and a sensational encounter and a spectacular performance by Speedball. And another example why Fletcher is the future. First time on the list, stars.
Oh, okay. As first reported by me on In the Weeds, AEW does see Kyle Fletcher as a future main eventer and world champion. Please make sure to credit me for that report. All right. Put that on Reddit. Put that all over on social media. Make sure you tag me that I get the credit on that. Nobody else is reporting that. Nobody else is watching the television show and can surmise that on their own. We don't need Sean to confirm this. Why don't people trust me when it comes to these things?
They should trust Jeremy. You could trust
I
Jeremy.
talk to people. Yeah, I know people. I tell Brian Danielson is my source. Tells me everything. Anything else this week, 3?
No. This was a good episode. We accomplished a lot.
All right. Well, what did we accomplish?
See how I set you up so perfectly there. We talked about BA Cup, which got me into a long conversation about why Magic Johnson is overrated and being a top 5 NBA player, and why Larry Bird is the most overrated top 10 player in NBA history. I know a lot of white basketball fans going to be upset with me for that. But we also talked about AEW Dynamite Winter is Coming, one of the best episodes of Dynamite this year, with one of the best matches of the year, Speedball Mike Bailey and Kyle Fletcher. Unfortunately, Jeremy thinks Samoa Joe and Eddie Kingston was better. and the Babes of Wrath are your new AEW Women's Tag Team Champions. And we got to see Swerve and Hangman team up with one another. So very productive episode where we broke it all down for you. So we accomplished a lot, like I said. And the C-suite where we talked about Thicky Bella herself, Nikita Big Cat Lyons.
Next thing we accomplished is, who cares about your stories? Who cares about your 5-star matches? Who cares about your big men slapping meat? Big meaty men slapping meat. Bump all that. What we want is jacking off and biting dicks out here, baby. That's what's most important in the world of wrestling.
Heard you. Heard you. Pause on all of that.
We did have a super chat from Bob. It said, real frames, just like real teeth. Go cry me a river. Appreciate you, Bob. I do hope things are getting better and better for you. You mentioned it was a rough few days. Shout out to you, Bob. I do like you, despite what I said last week when you were being a hater.
MCats, I explained my reasoning for Magic. Magic's still top six, number 6 for me. I'm probably, when I redo my list again, he'll probably be top 5 again. Maybe I'll put him over Duncan, but I can't. Duncan's all defense. Like I said, Magic didn't play too much defense. Like, he was never part of the all defensive team. He was never one of the best defenders in the league. Like, all the guys in the
champion.
Congrats. So was Steph Curry. Do we call him a defensive guy? No, we don't. All the top 5, my top 5, LeBron, Jordan, Kareem, Kobe, Duncan, they've all been all defense. They've all been elite on offense and defense. Magic Johnson has not.
My top 5, for anybody wondering, is Alex Caruso, Cason Wallace, Lou Dort, Isaiah Joe, and the man who saved basketball, Aaron Wiggins. Those are the top 5 players in NBA history. How many times did Magic Johnson save basketball?
Draymond played defense. Don't say that, Louis. Draymond plays defense.
Magic is Draymond with Riz.
Draymond with Riz is outrageous. That's outrageous.
All right. Yeah, Lakers' worst moves, not signing Caruso. Counterfactual.
Man, that whole 2020 team breakup is one of our biggest, worst moves ever.
I saw such a great tweet. I retweeted it as well, but I saw such a great tweet yesterday that said, Paul George is a bitch. Why couldn't you just block Dame? Just dying at that tweet.
Such a bitch. Block Dame, damn.
It was a bad shot. I mean, if he blocked Dame's shot, like, the Blazers probably just would have won in overtime, or at least they would have won in Game 6. Like, OKC was not winning that series. I'm sorry. They just weren't. That team was, especially with Paul George's shoulder injury, that team was very flawed, and they were coached by Billy Donovan, so they were only going so far. It was such a good tweet, though. I was cackling for hours after I saw it. All right, SP3, let everybody know where they can find you at.
You can find me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. I will be live in about 45 minutes with Jimmy Macaram reviewing last night's AEW Dynamite Winter is coming. So I have had rave reviews and praise for AEW Dynamite Winter is coming, which always means Jimmy probably did not like the episode at all. Definitely not Jack Perry, that's for sure. And Speedball. He doesn't like Speedball either. So yeah, he probably hated this show.
Yeah. Does he like Joe or Eddie?
Yeah, he does. He loves both of them.
Oh, okay. All right, maybe you like that match then.
He's prejudiced against skinny people.
Oh, that's not nice.
Yeah.
As a skinny person, that doesn't.
I agree.
Yeah,
I was skinny once before I was a dad and got a dad bod. Yeah.
All right, folks. We'll be back tomorrow. Myself and Joel Pearl, I guess, talking about TNA. There's going to be a lot of John Cena talk. Our results of our poll question, speaking of. There's going to be a lot of John Cena talk. You know, it's the last episode before John Cena retires tomorrow. Results of our poll question. Who is John Cena's greatest rival? 7% said AJ Styles. 13% said CM Punk. 19% said Randy Orton. And 61% said Edge. There you go.
Actually, listen to me. I'm proud of y'all. Look at that.
Oh, that's because I didn't put the entity or Triple H, because they would have voted for that.
They actually put their real answer. Because
that's why I made it a real poll question instead of having a goofy answer in there, because our chat would have voted for the goofy answer.
No, yeah, they would have. Yeah.
Look, all I'm saying is Lorena Bobbitt we're going to have the Lorena Bobbitt Invitational on one of our shows.
Lorena Bobbitt Invitational is wild.
The very prestigious LBI. You win.
That's like doing a freaking Tanya Harding open challenge where you have to hit somebody in the back of the leg before you come out for the open challenge.
This is you win the match by biting your opponent's dick. The Lorena Bobbitt Invitational.
Lorena Bobbitt Invitational. Names that I haven't heard since the 90s. Lorena Bobbitt and Tanya Harding.
Get ready, folks. It's coming. Ring of Hallucinations 2026. We'll be in here. All right, folks. We'll be back tomorrow. Myself and Joel talking John Cena and more. No episode of The Spotlight tonight. My kids have a band concert, and so I will be watching them play their instruments. I don't even know what they play. Well, yeah, all right. Just
what they play.
I think one of them plays drums, another plays trumpet, another plays clarinet. Basically, like our kids are the entire band since there's 18 of them. So we just have the entire band out there. That'll be what I'm doing tonight instead of doing the spotlight. But shout out to Steven Jensen. Everybody go support Steven Jensen at Fight Talk _. All right, folks. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, everyone, take care. Enjoy whatever you're doing with your Thursday night. See you tomorrow.